Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this replay. Real quick live chat this morning. I had a crazy weekend with a little emergency here at home, needing a hospital visit and stay. And my wife is still there. She's okay. Everything's worked out after some surgery. But wow, it really was an intense situation. So this coming week might be a little bit slow on the channel and the podcast. And that's why, because we're going to really focus on recovery and so forth. And I have to go out to, I'm not even allowed to go to visiting hours anymore because she's so stable that they put her in the no husbands getting in the way of healing ward. So that's good. Everything's good. And well, really, as I head out to an event I have to go to, Tony Robbins is here in Brisbane, and I'm going to that. I'll have her on my mind, and also the whole thing will replay through my mind, and how interesting it was to be on 911 and asking her in Chinese and English if she's aware of where she is and so forth. And wow, it was really intense. And then, just being in the situation and being able to remember the doctors' names and some details, and it was great. But also thinking about, if I had to call my in-laws and speak to them in Chinese, like what I could expect to be able to do, and then where the limits would be, and where the Chinese needs to be improved in terms of what do you do if there's an emergency situation. Now, fortunately, there was no such thing that was so drastic, and everything is cool and stable. Obviously, I'm still filled with worried and concern, but one of the things I'd love to think more about and hear from you is, where are you with your language learning, and what would you do with that language if an emergency situation arose? If you had to ask someone, do you know where you are? What's your name? And be able to do it in more than one language, perhaps, to really test and so forth, if that they're okay. And then when you're there and you're dealing with doctors' names and so forth, would you be able to actually remember the doctor's names, remember details of what's going on, remember the ward levels and the room numbers, and any kind of medical information, like insurance codes and all this kind of stuff that just suddenly is just thrown at you? What would you be able to do in terms of just recalling what you know, and then encoding anything that you needed to know in order to really survive this situation, and come out on top, more than survive, come out on top and thrive? So been really thinking about that a lot, and we'll continue to think about that a great deal. So let me know in the discussion below when you're watching this replay how if you've ever been in that kind of situation, and what you would be able to do with your memory techniques as they are right now. So I'm off for this adventure, and looking forward to when visiting hours open up so I can go and visit my wife, and really just such a thing happens when you're making other plans, as they say. Life happens when you're making other plans, and it's just kind of cool to have memory working, and then really also see some limits, and then go, there's something to focus on. Because one of the big premises that I always have is focus on the information that's going to improve your life, and be open to whatever that information is as you're on the language learning journey. So no textbook in the world is ever going to teach you exactly what you need to know when you're learning a language. Life itself will teach you what you need to know when you're learning a language, if you're open to it, if you're constantly exploring, and that you keep moving forward and being observant to the language learning process. Sandra says, take care. I pray for you both. Thank you, Sandra, so much. And I really appreciate that. And yeah, just thank you. In any case, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to continue thinking about this, and I would love to hear from you down in the discussion below what your thoughts are about this. And really, when you're working on improving your memory, keep in mind that life is what happens when you're making other plans. And it's never been truer to me, this philosophy that I talk about a lot, which is focus on learning and memorizing the information that matters, that will improve your life. Because when you do this, you're going to be prepared, like I often say, like the samurai who's prepared to execute any last move, even with his head cut off. And when I saw the situation that my wife was in, I'll tell you, it was pretty amazing to be able to ask her in Chinese and English, are you okay? Do you know where you are? do you know, just all the stuff. The operator was asking me these things, and I was just repeating it, and just to be sure that she was really okay. She's very good in English, but also in Chinese, and then just, planning to talk to her parents and so forth. And it's just, well, anyway, whatever. Samurai. Be prepared to execute any any move, even with your head cut off. And I was in that situation, and I'll be thinking about how I can make sure I have all the extra samurai swords that maybe I don't have now that I am confronted with that situation in my own Chinese journey. So really eye-opening, and that's exactly the things that we got to keep our eyes open for as learners, so that we'll always be prepared. So Ahmad says thank you for your videos. Thank you for being here, Ahmad. And as usual, hit the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and take care. But if it's a bit of a quiet week on the channel and the podcast and all that stuff, this is why. And let me know if you have questions. We'll catch them up. Everything's going to be very, very good going forward, with lots new content coming and lots of new trainings and so forth. And I'm working on something in particular. So if you have YouTube's community tab and you haven't seen the little posts that I put there, lots of people have already answered it. Thank you for that. And we're working on something huge coming up soon. So thank you again, everybody. And until we have a chance to speak again, come visit me at magneticmemorymethod.com and keep yourself magnetic. Bye-bye.